There we go. Hey folks, welcome into the News 12 Now Desk. Thanks for joining us on this Monday, April 24th. It is 8 o'clock here in the CSRA. Pretty good start to the day. Looking outside here, looks like we got some cloud cover, but the temperature was nice when I stepped out this morning, about 57 degrees right now in Augusta. So hopefully you had a great weekend. There was a lot to do this weekend in Augusta, and we'll talk about a lot of that coming up here in just a little bit. And there was some beautiful weather to do those activities as well. So we will go ahead and get started here with some good news, a good update for you. We were talking about, of course, our top headlines, just some of the big stories going on across the CSRA and beyond, recapping the weekend and some things from Friday that we'll get to towards the end of this little stream here. So a South Carolina State Trooper got to go home. Lance Corporal B.A. Frazier was getting treatment this past week ever since he survived getting shot in the face a week ago. Here is that video of a state trooper shared this on social media of Frazier leaving a hospital in Charleston. Other troopers gave him a private send-off yesterday. Lance Corporal Frazier was wounded on the right side of his face after troopers say Derek Gather shot him with a pistol during a traffic stop where he was pulled over for speeding. A bond hearing is reportedly scheduled for Thursday afternoon for Gathers, who's charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, and failure to stop for blue lights. 2 people were taken to the hospital after being shot in downtown Aiken Saturday. The Department of Public Safety says it happened just before 4 o'clock on Roosevelt Court Saturday afternoon. Officials say they found 2 men hurt, but we're working to find out the extent of those injuries. Anyone with information is asked to call public safety. They also found a gray Kia with bullet holes in it. In Burke County, 1 person is hurt following a shooting Saturday night. Deputies say it happened just before 9:30 in the area of Claxton Road, just outside of Girard. We don't know how injured the victim is or any information on suspects. We're all working to learn more there, and we will keep you updated. And in Augusta, 2 men were sent to the hospital after a shooting Saturday night as well. Deputies say this one happened just before 9:30 on 4th and Ellis Street. They say the 2 men's injuries were non-life-threatening, and again, still working to figure out suspect information on all of these cases. It took less than 3 hours of deliberating for a jury to find local woman guilty on all counts in the death of her husband. Sandra Dales was accused of killing Eddie Cruey and burying his body. The state and defense made their closing arguments to the jury last week. Now Dales is facing life in prison with or without parole, on top of 10+ years for concealing Cruey's death. Her sentencing will take place in 30 days. Richmond County deputies are on the lookout for a suspect in the death of a 13-year-old boy. Nearly a month ago, Buddy Brown was shot from behind on Broad Street while picking up a to-go order. Now authorities have a suspect in mind. Let me get him pulled up real quick. We are going to show him. We have a story, but I'll pull him up here anyway. There he is. Here's a look at him now. Deputies say 30-year-old Gregory Thornton is wanted in reference to murder. This matches up with what other authorities believe that we also reported just before the weekend. The FBI and U.S. Marshal's Office were going to serve a warrant in Hartford County outside of the Baltimore area, but they say Thornton led them on a high-speed chase, and they canceled that chase because it was too dangerous. Now, when we checked in with Brown's family, they told us they spoke to investigators who told them they believe when Buddy went downstairs to get food, Thornton was trying to get into the building. They believe Buddy wouldn't open the door for him, and then authorities believe that Thornton is still on the run in the Baltimore area. So if you have any information concerning Thornton, call the sheriff's office. Deputies say he should be considered armed and dangerous. And we had our Will Rio tracking those developments. We'll go ahead and play his story now.
Well, the U.S. Marshal Service says 30-year-old Gregory Thornton is the prime suspect in the shooting death of 13-year-old Buddy Brown. Now, Brown's family says a female is in custody right now, but Thornton is still on the run. On March 28th at around 3 in the morning, Augusta Dispatch receives this call.
911, please fire ambulance.
Ma'am, somebody just got killed in front of our building. We at 744 on Richard Summit. Somebody just shot this little boy. He dead.
13-year-old Buddy Brown was shot in the back of the head after trying to get his DoorDash order from McDonald's at around 12:30 to 1 in the morning.
Hurry up. This man is out here dead. This child is out here dead.
This shooting is taking investigators more than 600 miles away to find 30-year-old Gregory Thornton.
Law enforcement developed information that indicated he was up in Maryland. They sent the information to the United States Marshal Service and asked us for help.
Law enforcement believe Thornton fled back to this apartment complex with his girlfriend in Edgewood, Maryland, where he's from. A regional fugitive task force surrounded his apartment, but as agents moved in, Thornton showed up in this Camaro, which they say is the same one he left Augusta in.
The subject shows up in a black Camaro with racing stripes. As soon as law enforcement attempted to approach the vehicle, he took off and fled. He actually drove directly at one of the task force officers.
He led them on a high-speed chase. The pursuit was called off because it became too dangerous.
We have every reason to believe that not only he's armed and dangerous, but also that he's capable of great violence.
Thornton is still on the run.
You might come run and hide and dodge all you want, but that country going to eat you up no matter where you at, nowhere where you at. Because every time you look around, you're going to see my son in your face, and you're going to think about it.
The Brown family says they know they'll get justice. It's just a matter of time.
No, my son going to get his justice. No matter what, he going to get his justice. And that way he can rest in peace. And I'm going to make sure that happens.
Now, the family tells me investigators say Buddy went downstairs to get his food from DoorDash while Thornton was trying to get into the building there. Buddy would not let him inside, and that's when Buddy was shot. It's still not clear who exactly shot Buddy that morning, so still a lot of questions in this investigation.
So we haven't heard the end of this, obviously, and we will continue to follow that, and hopefully they are able to bring that family some closure here very soon. Okay, let's go back to some events on the weekend here. North Augusta wrapped up a new event to test your taste buds over the weekend. On Thursday, the city organized a Taste of North Augusta to lift up 15 local restaurants in 3 parts of the city. Our Sydney Hood shows us what was brewing.
Well, it's a food tour, but you didn't need your GPS for this one. All of these places are right in our backyards and offer a unique taste you can't find anywhere else, giving owners a lot of flavor and a lot of business.
It brings people that wouldn't necessarily think about us.
While testing all of your senses, taste being the main one.
Hopefully they try new foods. You know, they got a little adventurous.
An adventure right in your backyard.
It helps put everybody together on the map, and we always say rising tide lifts all boats.
Allowing business to set sail.
Definitely we see a little uptick.
With more traffic.
It's fun to see new faces. It's fun to be a part of community events and events to help grow this whole area.
Introducing new flavors in the area.
And that's what it's all about, is new faces coming in the door, and we're always looking to bring new people in.
Giving them a taste of the town.
They say, hey, maybe let's try them out. You know, we've never been there. And I think that's the type of people that's good for us to get new people in here.
And the restaurants I checked in with all said they definitely saw an uptick this weekend, and they all said the unique part is you can only taste the food highlighted this weekend in North Augusta, and of course it helps to bring in new faces to the area.
All right, thanks for that, Sid. Happening later today, Governor Brian Kemp going to be in Augusta. He's planning to sign 3 bills that will support the state's businesses and economy. Other city leaders are expected to be there as well. That ceremony is expected to start right around 2 o'clock. And Governor Kemp has signed a bill to give Richmond County voters the decision on whether the mayor should get a full vote on the Augusta Commission. Right now, the mayor can only cast a vote to break a tie, resulting in possible strategies among commission members that could keep the mayor from voting. We saw this with the Gold Cross vote. Bobby Williams abstained from the vote. If he did not abstain, if he had voted, there would have been a tie, and then Garnett Johnson would have cast the tie-breaking vote. But because he abstained, there you see the votes there, there was no tie. So that kind of negates any possibility of that, and now the mayor has full voting power, or has voters have the option of whether to give the mayor full voting power. Mayor Garnett Johnson responded to the bill saying, in part, this action will give us the ability to get things done for our constituents. Says also, I'm excited that this legislation allows the voters to make the ultimate decision. Former Vice President Mike Pence was in Atlanta yesterday. He spoke at the Church of the Apostles about his time in the White House. A tweet from the church says he's a longtime friend of one of the pastors there. The trip to Atlanta comes at a time when Pence is expected to launch his own bid to become president. Today, the Augusta African American Historical, or this wasn't today, sorry, this was a couple days ago. The African American Historical Society unveiled its 26th monument, a statue of Dr. Channing H. Tobias. Tobias was born in Augusta in 1882 and was a notable clergyman, diplomat, statesman, and international leader. One board advisory member says many people don't know his name, but it's important to share with others how he was recognized for his work during the civil rights movement.
So many people think about the place where they grew up. I bet nothing ever really happened here, or I bet no one important ever kind of came out of here. And so this is a way to highlight how so many important people came out of Augusta and did such important work, not just locally, but also nationally.
Some of his roles included serving as a senior secretary to the National Council's Black Division and serving on President Truman's Committee on Civil Rights. A statue in his name now joins the History Walk. Saturday was a chance for record fans to find their favorite music, and it looks like there was a great turnout at Gransky Records downtown. It's an event called Record Store Day. It encourages music fans to support independently owned record stores. We checked in with Gransky Records, who says they wanted to focus on showcasing new releases for people who love vinyl. Earth Day is celebrated every year, April 22nd, so that was Saturday, as a way to give back to the planet that we live on. Sometimes that includes fun activities and food for the family to try. Counties on both sides of the Savannah River counties on both sides of the Savannah, for Aiken, their first time since the pandemic, taught fun and important lessons to the next generation. Our Sydney Hood shows us more.
Hey, Dad, look what I found in the dirt. I found something.
Kids have been looking through the compost, trying to find different insects, so we can talk more about what their role is in the dirt and in the ecosystem and how they're very helpful for us.
I caught that, Daddy, I caught that.
They're definitely really excited and amazed by it, especially when you pull them up under the macroscope.
Whoa, he keeps moving a lot.
He does keep moving a lot.
The cool thing about it was when I got to look at them under the microscope, because they looked really cool, and I got to see all of their features.
From the looks of it here,
yeah, Daddy done nature there.
The great outdoors sounds really great.
And I want to raise her to like being out the doors, to share that same passion of being outdoors.
Doing so with care.
Well, this is the only earth we have. While we live here, they live here too, and so will future generations. So we need to take care of it for everyone.
Preserving for tomorrow the earth and the things we enjoy today.
And today is all about just that.
That they learn today what they can apply the rest of their lives.
A moment enjoyed by both the student and the teacher.
It's just something you want to share. You want to share your plants. You want to share your knowledge. You just want to make people, feel what you feel.
The real feeling here
is when people are out here with you and having a good time.
And both Augusta and Aiken saw hundreds of folks come out and celebrate Earth Day, and the learning was not just for kids of all ages. So a great way to get out, and again, the weather was just picture perfect to be out there and enjoying some Earth Day activities this weekend. Thanks for that, Sydney. A lot of Sydney Hood in this show here today. Okay, now the largest lavender farm in Georgia, as we're talking about now. The owner told our sister station in Atlanta they didn't have widespread support at first, but now they have the connections and the funding to expand even more. Our Sawyer Bussey takes us there.
The Red Oak Lavender Farm sounds like
you smell that lavender scent. It's so relaxing.
Because it smells like
I can just put my hand through here and smell it, and it smells so good.
Because it looks like
we have 4,000 lavender plants, and counting. Also grow flowers here too.
This is one of the largest lavender farms in the state of Georgia.
And when you have so much lavender in one area, you can actually call it lavender honey.
When her family started the farm, they were met with some criticism.
You can't grow lavender here. This is the South, and we have the Georgia clay and our humidity and all the rain.
With irrigation systems and a few little tricks, they found a way. Now universities like UGA come to the farm and conduct research on lavender growth in Georgia.
She is so passionate that she mastered growing, like I said, 20 plus species in her backyard.
The community uses the space and the lavender. The lavender is used in gin at Big Creek Distillery, a family-owned spot down the road.
Our Georgia Seasonal Gin is one of our most popular spirits that we offer.
The local women's shelter brings women leaving domestic violence situations here to breathe, to feel peace. Special needs classes stop by, learning about wildlife, enjoying the day. The farm is expanding again. They just received a $16,000 grant to expand their plant's growing season. Tied into the roots of this place are all the people who've gone before the Duffys.
Hey, Grandma Zora, when I see the lavender with the purple blooms, I think of her. When the people come here, it gives them that peace and happiness, and it's my way of kind of giving back to the world.
Pretty good stuff right there. Sawyer Bussey reporting. The Writers Guild of America is threatening to strike, which could cause some of your favorite shows to go on hold. The late-night talk shows might be the first to be affected. And while you typically think of Hollywood writers, the Peach State is another hot topic for production, hot spot for production. More and more shows for streaming services like Netflix and Amazon are being filmed in Georgia, and the state's $4 billion a year film and TV industry are at stake. The owner of the Silver Skillet in Atlanta says dozens of shows and movies have used her diner over the decades. It's created a tourist spot out of her family-run restaurant.
They're excited about it. They bring their friends in and say, oh, this is where Clint Eastwood sat, or this is where that was filmed.
The Writers Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers have until May 1st to reach a fair and reasonable agreement. The last strike happened in 2007, and it lasted 100 days. Hopefully we don't see that again. The ACLU of Georgia says they resigned from the Atlanta mayor's new task force concerning the Public Safety Training Center and South River Forest. Group officials called for a halt on the controversial center, saying there's a lack of commitment from the force to be transparent with the media and the public on the meetings. Another source from the task force told our sister station in Atlanta some members have considered resigning as well. The source says all of them learned they could provide input on the land around the training site, but not on the site itself. The mayor says the doors originally were closed over safety concerns.
A lot of these individuals expressed today that they were scared of the individuals that have thrown Molotov cocktails, that have sent threatening letters.
After the ACLU's resignation, the mayor announced the meetings would be available to the public on Zoom. Our sister station reached out to the human rights organization to see if they would rejoin, but they haven't heard back yet. Across the river now in South Carolina, the other day in Camden, this was Saturday in Camden, the remains of 14 Revolutionary War soldiers were buried with full military honors. 13 of the soldiers were Americans and one was a member of a British regiment. Their remains were recently discovered in shallow graves, and then they were identified as casualties of the Battle of Camden during the Revolutionary War. After the ceremony, 14 soldiers were buried in the 7 locations where they were found on the battlefield. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster was at the ceremony.
The more I learn about our nation's history, the more proud I am of South Carolina's dramatic role in it. Their goal was to create a new nation of freedom and liberty. Ours is to strengthen it, to preserve it, protect it, and defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
He says our duties in comparison are lighter, but the value of these patriots who fought in the Revolutionary War have more importance to the world. The most dangerous weapons in prisons right now are cell phones. That's from the head of South Carolina's prison system, who's pleading with lawmakers to let him crack down on illegal cell phones behind bars. Inmates have been caught making drug deals, even ordering hits right from their prison cells. Victims and their families were at the State House last week saying this needs to end and calling for a bill to do that.
They don't need cell phones because all it's going to lead to is crime, hurt, and death.
The point of this bill is just to make sure that if the industry balks at the law that's on the books, because they've balked at everything else, they really don't want to stop cell phones in inmates' hands, then we will be able to go to them and say to the FCC, we have a law on the books, and they cannot challenge that law because it's a lot more ironclad than just a law that designates the director can say what contraband is.
Last year, the FCC adopted a rule that would allow state prison systems to turn off illegal cell phone signals within 5 days of identifying them. The DOC director says South Carolina applied for this and has been credited, but isn't able to actually do it yet. Out in Iowa, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott stopped by over the weekend. He visited the state for 2 events amid speculation he could put in a bid for next year's presidential election. While he still hasn't made an announcement yet and clarified why he made an exploratory committee at the beginning of the month.
I guess the simple answer is as I continue on the Faith in America tour, as I continue to tour farms and businesses and churches, it gives me an opportunity to understand whether or not what I'm focused on, which is an optimistic, positive message anchored in conservatism, is working. As long as it's working, you continue to build momentum.
Senator Scott also commented on the recent Supreme Court decision allowing the abortion pill to stay legal, saying he has confidence in the judiciary system. With summer travel set to take off, airlines and other officials are saying there's trouble ahead. CBS's Elise Preston is at LAX with more on what you need to know.
The summer travel rush is starting early this year. Are you headed to At Los Angeles International Airport, many flyers have already locked down their vacation plans and are ready to go.
We are making up for lost time and trying to see family.
Pent-up demand is expected to make this the busiest summer at airports in 4 years. Flyers are bracing for packed planes and soaring prices.
We started searching flights a couple of years ago. It's gone up $600 for 2 flights.
Oh my goodness.
So $300 per ticket.
Unlike lower food and gas prices, inflation is still hitting travelers hard. The cost of an airline ticket has climbed 17% from last year, a hotel stay 8%. Finding a seat could be tough. Delta says it's already sold 75% of its international flights. Another hurdle for some, getting a passport in time. What has the wait been like?
For the passport?
Yeah.
The most difficult part is you don't know when they're going to get here.
U.S. State Department offices nationwide are swamped with about 500,000 applications every week, a jump of about 30% from last summer.
It needs to be the original.
It can take up to 3 months to get a passport. It used to be 6 to 9 weeks, enough to worry some travelers about their trip going bust.
You're waiting to get your tickets though until after you get your passport.
Yes.
If you already have a passport, check the expiration date. Officials recommend the passport be valid for at least 6 months after you leave the U.S. Elise Preston, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Yeah, I was just looking up some flight prices 2 days ago, I think, to see what it was like to try to fly back to Philly. My cousin's getting married here in July. Not cheap, not cheap. And you know how it has, if you use Google Flights, it has that little bar where it's like flight prices are like lower than normal, about the same as normal, or high. It's like all the way on high. It's in the red. Prices are way up right now. It's crazy. Might just drive 10 hours for a weekend. Probably not. All right, moving on. Moving on to Alabama now, where a small town called Dadeville is remembering a mass shooting that happened a week ago. 4 people died. Many others were left injured physically and emotionally. Julia Avant shows us how they're coping.
The tight-knit community of Dadeville is leaning on their faith heavily just 1 week after the mass shooting that took lives and put others in danger.
It's kind of solemn and disturbing.
Dadeville High School 10th grader Benton Baker knew many of the people at the party that night.
Well, Phil, I played football with Phil, and a lot of my friends that were in my grade and 2 kids from my class are actually in the hospital right now.
He says it's been difficult. Many kids haven't returned to school.
A few people that have showed up, it's just been real, like everybody can feel that sense in the air.
First Baptist Church in Dadeville is serving as a safe haven for the community that is still hurting 1 week later.
We are not only going to be praying, obviously, in the services, but we'll also provide counsel to those that would like to come in during the week. We'll probably set up by appointment a counsel and prayer time mainly, just to listen to people. A lot of times you don't have to give any answers, but you just need to be there to listen.
Charlie Kuykendall, a church staff member, says they have been providing counseling sessions not only at the church but also at Dadeville High School.
The church is a community of amazing people that are always there for people in the community. And the things that we talked about today with Lazarus and just the way that God, the people that Mary had so much faith in Jesus and that it paid off is just a really good message to have today.
The church was alongside this community just hours after the shooting and will continue to be until they're healed.
And one of at least 28 people who were among those critically injured is getting a chance to speak after the mass shooting. 18-year-old Kendarius Hurd is still in the hospital, paralyzed now from the waist down. He says he tried to escape the dance studio when one of the bullets hit him in the back. Hurd explained what he could remember before getting hurt.
I really didn't see me. I just started running out the door. Because the shooters were behind me, the shots were firing off behind me. And I tried to get back up, and this thing I knew I couldn't. I was just laying on top of people.
Hurd says he's in pain, but he's grateful to be alive. His mother and grandmother refused to leave his side. 6 men were arrested last week between the ages of 15 and 20. All of them are charged with reckless murder. A deadly drug cocktail is making its way across the country. Everybody knows about the dangers of mixing fentanyl, but now dealers are mixing it with animal tranquilizer. The combination is called Trank. Jerika Duncan takes a closer look at this often fatal substance that's turning up in almost every state.
It completely incapacitates you. It put me down for about 2 hours.
37-year-old Chandler, who doesn't want his last name used, is in recovery. He believes he was given a mixture of fentanyl and another powerful drug called xylazine.
I later found out that they called it Trank. It was a terrible experience for me. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it.
The Drug Enforcement Administration has seized fentanyl mixed with xylazine in all but 2 states, with the South reporting the greatest increase of overdose deaths. In Georgia, deaths involving xylazine have jumped from 15 in 2020 to 183 last year.
Xylazine's cheap. A kilo in Puerto Rico was $300.
Dan Salter worked for the DEA for more than 30 years.
What can you tell people about the effects of xylazine?
It's used for large animals, is not for human consumption. Most of the time, when you cut fentanyl with xylazine, you're going to have an overdose death.
Xylazine and fentanyl combined have been described as the deadliest drug in the United States.
Missy Owen and her husband run The Zone, a recovery support organization in Marietta, Georgia. The couple has seen countless lives cut short due to drugs, including their son Davis, who died at 20 from a heroin overdose in 2014.
Do you ever wonder what your son would say about the work that you and your husband are doing?
I say, Mom and Dad, y'all keep on going. These people need you. And I don't want him ever to see us not working hard to make a difference for people that could have made a difference for him.
As for Chandler, who struggled with addiction for years, he says his life is now on a different path.
How are you doing today?
I have a peace today that I've never known and never experienced in my entire life,
Hope for the future in the face of a growing crisis. Jerika Duncan, CBS News, Marietta, Georgia.
And it feels like we hear these stories all the time, fentanyl popping up and now new stuff, and it's killing people. And, I don't know what the answer is, but it's bad. Okay, the U.S. Supreme Court hands down a decision allowing women to keep using a popular abortion drug for now. Emily Schmidt is in Washington with a closer look.
All Friday, all eyes were on the U.S. Supreme Court. Each minute, a minute closer to a decision about an abortion drug, which has been safely used for more than 2 decades. The decision, when it came, was to protect access to a widely used abortion drug, a move that has major consequences.
The headline for right now is that mifepristone access tomorrow is going to be the same as it was yesterday, that's not going to change anytime soon.
This is the first big abortion-related decision from the court since it overturned Roe v. Wade last summer. At issue, an April ruling by a Texas judge, which blocked the FDA approval of mifepristone, often the first part of a 2-drug regimen to end early pregnancy. The court's decision is a momentary win for the Biden administration, which had issued court filings saying the lower courts were countermanding the FDA's scientific judgment.
So on all fronts, including reversing this Texas judge, we have to work to regain the rights and freedoms that have been lost.
A federal appeals court has already scheduled oral arguments for mid-May. There's a chance the case could ultimately come back to the Supreme Court. But for now, doctors in states where abortion is legal can prescribe mifepristone to their patients. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
And the decision may be temporary. Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito publicly dissented, and appeals will have to play out. Even before the decision, Democrats acknowledged how much still sits in the hands of a lower court. So still much more to come on that, as you can imagine. Okay. 2 homes in Draper, Utah were destroyed after they slid off a hill. Look at that. Good news is nobody was living in the home. Look at that video. Oh my gosh. Nobody was living inside the homes. You can see here the 2-story half slid off the back while the other one was slowly sliding down the hill. There it goes until it was gone. So this is what it looked like during the day. You can just see how half of that home is gone right there. The homes were from a development project at the Hidden Cannon Estates, but they were evacuated last year after building officials found dangerous conditions. Yeah. The city's working to reach out to the home's developer regarding the area as they work to evaluate other homes nearby. A loud boom and bright flash lit up the night sky over central Indiana overnight. Experts say it was likely caused by a meteor. Check this out. Homeowners from multiple Indiana counties reported loud shaking and explosions from Kokomo to Greenwood. Security camera video from a neighborhood in Greenwood captured the streak of light. Then 2 distinct flashes. Watch them right here. Boom. Well, I guess that was one. Right before 9 p.m. Thankfully, there are no reports of damage associated with that phenomenon. So, as long as there's no damage, this can be pretty cool to see. But obviously, don't want anybody to get hurt or anything like that. Okay. The Peach Belt Golf Championship wrapped up at Forest Hills, and the Professional Disc Golf Association Champions Cup comes to a close in Appling. Alyssa Lyons has your sports.
In the second round of the PBC Championship, the Pacers fought their way to first, posting a 7-under day. Now they try to keep it there with one last round to go in hopes of walking away with their first title since 2018. The Pacers are coming off their second lowest team round of the season, led by Eric Ola. The sophomore bogeyed 3 times in the back 9. While his teammates tried to pick up where he fell off, it wasn't enough to keep them on top. Aiken placed third, carding a 5-over 293 in the final round. Not ideal, but not completely an unwelcome finish.
Honestly, I was expecting to win, but that's just a mentality thing, I guess. Just coming here expecting to win because we know we're more than capable and we have enough talent. It's just about getting it done, and just today we just didn't make it happen. But it feels good to get third and not last. I mean, but in the end of the day, we really wanted it. We really wanted to win, so it's kind of disappointing. But it's just another notch on the belt of experience.
The finish is better than Aiken's previous. Last year, the Pacers finished 7th. Final day over in Appling at the PDGA Champions Cup. Lawrenceville, Georgia product Isaac Robinson finished atop the leaderboard. Robinson had his lowest round of the tournament Sunday afternoon at 6-under, but it was good enough to clear the field by 5 in the end. On the women's side, Kristen Tadar separated herself from the field and kept the distance. She carded a final round of 64 to finish 27-under in Appling. Game 4 maybe wasn't what Hawks fans wanted, and it sure didn't start how they expected. Hawks trailed through the first half 65-53. They lost the battle on rebounds, and every bounce seemed to go in the Celtics' favor in their 8-point loss. They kept within distance, cutting it close to as much as 4, but they couldn't get over the hump, even at the hands of Trae Young, Young has been upping the temperature this postseason. Game by game, he registered 35, his best yet this round.
Yeah, we've watched some film, got out in the court. He's been good. He's been locked in, and I think the message, as much as anything, for him and for our whole group, is just to stay aggressive, and try to make the right play. And he got a little down. He turned it over one time, and he's kind of shaking his head. And it's like, let's get to the next play. I don't want him thinking about what just happened. Just stay aggressive, and make every mistake can make you better if you process it the right way.
They're now in a win or go home situation when they return to Boston for Game 5 Tuesday night. Just before we go, Jackets get a little swamped in Myrtle Beach, and the weekend went oh so wrong for the Braves at home. That's 4 red L's in a row for Atlanta.
So there you go. Pretty good stuff there. Yeah, the Hawks, they're in trouble. Trae Young has been less than stellar this postseason. And then DeJounte Murray could find himself on the bench in Game 5. He kind of bumped a ref. I don't know if you guys saw it after the game there as he was walking off, said something to him. And, it looked like a league suspension might be coming down. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But, yeah, Celtics are just better. It's been kind of a down year for the Hawks. It might be time for a rebuild. Might be time to trade Trae Young. I'm just saying. I know nobody wants to hear that. But let's go back to the Disc Golf Championship. It was perfect weather there. Went through Sunday. Started earlier, right at the end of last week. Our Hannah Harding stopped by to get the feel for the entire tournament, talked to some directors and some fans out there as well.
Many of us know Augusta to be a major golf city, but there's a different kind of golf that's very prominent right here in our backyard in Appling, Georgia.
It's such a beautiful facility. We have, the World Disc Golf Hall of Fame. We have a museum here. It's the International Disc Golf Center, 3 championship courses. There's nothing like it.
Wildwood Park, home of the International Disc Golf Center, and a major tournament is underway this weekend, the Champions Cup.
It's very, very important to us to be here in the Augusta area, and we're just so thrilled that the community has latched onto it the way that they have, and our community has supported the event in the way that they have.
Just seeing the best players in the world play right here in Appling in Columbia County is just amazing for this community.
Spectators agree this experience is special.
It's really relaxed, and I think the atmosphere in general is special, especially seeing people that, pay attention to online through, watching the Disc Golf Network.
Even though a lot of people don't know about disc golf, it's one of the fastest growing sports next to pickleball.
The Professional Disc Golf Association membership saw a huge boom around 2020 and 2021, at which time, we blew up, and we're now actually over 250,000 members. And so the sport of disc golf has bloomed in the last couple of years.
In a few years, there'll be more disc golf courses than golf courses in the United States.
And if you want to get a glimpse of some of the best players in the world, there are still tickets available online at discgolfscene.com. Reporting in Appling, Hannah Harding, on your side.
There you go. Disc golf, I know, really took off during the pandemic, especially because it was outside, far away from people, super cheap just to buy some discs. I think some courses are even free to just go play, and it's not very physically taxing to have a casual round with some friends, so it's a little bit easier than trying to go play 18 holes of an actual golf course. So pretty cool stuff there. Let's go over a couple things from the end of last week. Since I was off Friday, we didn't get to them Friday morning, so we'll kind of just hit on a couple things and then we'll wrap it up here. A photo from a school project causes an uproar on social media, and now that picture's led to an apology from the Jenkins County school system and a promise for diversity training. The photo in question shows 4 students at Jenkins County High School with a rolling trash can that was decorated with facial features and named Shaniqua. Our Sydney Hood talked to some parents out there how they felt about it. They said that someone at the school should have shut it down before a photo was taken or even posted on social media. The school did issue an apology, but parents say that's still not enough, and they are calling for change.
It symbolized a black female with lashes, blonde hair, big lips, red lips, and the name what really stood out when they named it, Shaniqua.
It was supposed to be a fun school project.
Why was the trash can created? Like, why was it decorated? It shouldn't have been decorated. If they want to roll a trash can, they should have just rolled a trash can.
The photo no longer exists on Facebook, but the comments are still flowing in, some saying the picture should have never been posted in the first place.
It's really time to address some things, especially when my daughter attends school there and is in the class with 2 of the girls. So, and I don't want her to feel like insecure about the situation.
School Superintendent Tara Cooper responded to parents, say she formally apologizes for those that were hurt and offended. She says they cannot take back what happened, but they can address the issue, and staff will take diversity and sensitivity training.
That's a Band-Aid solution to the cancer that is racism. That's not getting to the root of the problem. That's not getting to the culture that foster the environment for this to happen.
Meanwhile, parents are planning their next move.
Come together and plan what we intend to do about it and to establish accountability first within ourselves.
And they're pushing to bring the topic in front of the school board.
Wish I could talk to the faculty that was there face to face to see if they can really look me in my face and say that was okay. Why was the trash can created, decorated, photographed, and posted on social media? I'm sure they cannot give me an answer.
And the parents Sydney spoke with say they don't seem confident in the school's ability for change. Meanwhile, the Jenkins County School Board meets today, so we will let you know if they have anything to say at that meeting. Okay, a North Carolina substitute teacher and student are both facing charges of simple assault after fighting in a classroom, and it was caught on camera. This is the first time I'm seeing this, so let's see. The fight happened at Rocky Mount High School. Let me see. Oh, yep, there they go. Oh, okay. All right, Nash County Public School officials say it started after the teacher took the student's phone. Oh my goodness. Took the student's phone. The video shows the student complaining that the substitute teacher did not keep anyone else's phone. Then the student tries to grab the phone from the teacher's hand. They start to argue. Then it becomes physical, as you can see, with the two swinging on each other. So, yeah, both facing charges, simple assault. Can't imagine that teacher is still working there. Okay. Spreading kindness. There we go. How about let's do that. Across the area and beyond. Every month, the Georgia Cancer Center downtown passes out kindness rocks to their patients. Sarah Ransford, the Edgefield Rock Lady, is the one behind the movement. Every month for the past 6 years, she's been sending rocks. Our Will Volk stopped by for the latest drop-off to talk to the center about what this means to them.
Jayla Bussey says things can get overwhelming for patients at the Georgia Cancer Center downtown.
They're going through a lot already with the chemotherapy, with the various emotional stages of being diagnosed with whatever they're being diagnosed with.
She's been working here for 3 years. Ever since she started, she's noticed a special box of rocks coming in every month.
Our patients come and they're very eager to come here and to be able to get the rocks every visit. We have some patients who look forward every visit.
The rocks are painted with encouraging messages.
It makes it more tangible. You can connect with that, and the patients take that and they hold it during their treatments. They take it home.
Who's behind this?
I think kindness is what we need right now in this country more than anything ever.
Sarah Ransford, aka the Rock Lady. We introduced you to her last year. She paints and places rocks around Edgefield, and she also sends rocks here to the center, and they love it.
We love the Rock Lady. We really do. She is simply amazing.
In Augusta, Will Volk on your side.
It's the little things, isn't it? Something so simple can really just make somebody's day, especially when they're going through a tough day. Got to be over there at the cancer center getting treatment. Little rock can brighten things up, so that's pretty cool. Ransford has sent thousands of rocks over the last 6 years. Not just her, people from Florida, California, and Oregon also sent in rocks for this month's donation. So she is no longer a one-woman operation. No, she is gone national now. She's across the country. You can find out about these stories and much more over on our website, WRDW.com. Oh boy, it's Monday. WRDW.com. If you're watching this on the website, be sure to download our WRDW streaming app. You can do that on your Roku, your Fire Stick, your Apple TV, whatever your favorite streaming device is. Just search WRDW, and you can download that right from the App Store right there. It is free, and we'll get you all those I-Team investigations, first alert weather forecasts, sports coverage, live newscasts, Ariel Augusta. Everything's going to be up there on our streaming app. Also, if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, WRDW News 12, that is free as well, and that's got some more condensed clips in it. So if you don't have time to watch a full 30-minute newscast, these are a little bit easier for you to sit there and watch a few of them and just kind of get all the latest news and what's going on in your area and beyond. So again, those are both free, so why not give them a download? That is going to do it for our top headlines for this Monday. We'll be back in a little while after Morning Mix, which is in about 15 minutes. If you want to swing on over to the TV side of things, Cliff and Zaina will have all of the latest of what's going on over there. And we'll be back on here probably around 11 o'clock or so, bringing you some more News 12 Now. We'll see you then.